Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You doing good? You're doing awesome. That is great because this is episode 181 of the Byte That Weekly Wrestling Podcast, the place where we do talk about the latest happenings inside of the WWE. This is our Elimination Chamber Super Show. So, of course, this is the week that I decide to get sick, but I am here. I am joined by Keith from Winnipeg, by Ryan McNulty from Boston, Mass. I'm going to get their energy for everything that is happening. We are going to be talking about...
we're not talking like the sick dude kind of way.
This isn't but
you're like
good sick. This is like I've not slept much sick. So I'm hoping to get over that. But remember, you can find all of our awesome information over at ByteThat.com. We also want to thank everybody because this past weekend, we had our 12-hour wrestling video game marathon in which a lot of our Patreon supporters participated. We actually did that thanks to our very first goal here. And as a result, we got a lot more patrons. So we do want to give a lot of people some love right here, right now, including Patreon members RDS Wrestling, Terrence Jordan, Caleb Haberick, Joe Windingland, Peter D331, and Oliver Batista. Many of you hung out with us during the 12-hour wrestling game marathon. We also had a lot of people make a one-time donation. Right now. Why are you... Okay, but be careful, though, because if you break the microphone, you can't talk about wrestling, and then the show's over. But we also had some people that made a one-time donations, which you can do so now over at ByteThat.com, and you also get some love. So now, Keith, you do the love thing. Yeah.
So I'm going to send some love out to Alexander
Not too much. Careful.
No, just the appropriate amount of love.
Say the full name.
And you know what that is.
Part.
I hate you. Alexander Alvarado, Liam Vincent, Sam Harrison, Justin Santlan, TJ Kinder, Oliver Batista.
Again?
And Joe Windingland.
Again.
Thank you. You have received the appropriate amount of love from me.
Which is a lot of love, because Keith doesn't spread a lot of love. But another thing that happened this weekend, so we had the 12-hour wrestling game marathon. Then the day after, there was this bet that was done in the podcast by Patron member Bo Seegers, who called Ryan out, because I don't know anything about football, and Ryan almost had to sing Nia Jax's theme song. So Ryan, I want to get your feedback. The Patriots won. I believe they are a football team that you support. What happened?
Well, only the greatest football game of all time transpired this past Sunday. So yeah, I made that bet. I put a lot on the line
Didn't
here.
Like The Simpsons predicted or something like that?
Maybe. I'm not sure. I mean, it's not a bold prediction to say that the Patriots could win the Super Bowl any given year because there's a pretty good chance they might make it. But anyway, yeah, so I had a bet with Bo Seegers. He challenged me. He said, he was going to go behind the Falcons and I was going to obviously support my team, the Patriots. And if I lost, then I would have to sing Nia Jax's theme. And if Bo lost, he would donate extra to our Patreon. Now,
#sellout.
So I took that bet and, I had to support the Patriots. And what I got was just the most dramatic game I've ever seen. The Patriots were down by 25 points.
But not
at
out.
The half. And in Super Bowl history, I think a 10-point deficit is the most a team has ever come back. So at one point in time during this game, the Falcons had a 96.6% chance of winning the game. And a lot of things had to go the Patriots' way for them to win. And in a John Cena-like comeback, the New England Patriots actually won that game. And it was absolutely unbelievable, and I was spared.
All right, speed this up there, Sunshine.
Right.
We need to talk about wrestling.
It's okay.
Don't doubt
Ryan,
Tom Brady and the Patriots. I don't have to sing Nia Jax's theme, and I am happy. I'm a happy camper. Good GG, Bo. It wasn't your night.
We had a very fun time. People were tweeting at us back and forth.
Someone sent a tweet to me saying, "Oh, looks like you could get ready to sing Nia Jax's theme." I tweeted back to him. I said, "It ain't over." Sure enough, 2 hours later, Patriots win.
GG is what I guess you can say about the Super Bowl. Now, Lady Gaga had her thing. We're not going to cover it, even though she was like in the air, but not really.
Someone did a great splice, though, where she like jumped off the stage or whatever at the end, and they spliced it with Shane McMahon going off the Hell in a Cell. It was fantastic.
I gotta love the creativity that people have, and it's been a very packed weekend because on the road to WrestleMania, we had the Super Bowl, we had our 12-hour marathon, and now this coming weekend we have Elimination Chamber, so we are going to give our feedback. Now that is a SmackDown Live pay-per-view, so we're going to keep the majority of the SmackDown Live conversation when we get to the predictions there, but as always, every single week, we go over to Twitter, Byte That Cast, to get your feedback about the shows. Did you think they sucked? Did you think they were fun? Now with Raw, we saw that it was just okay. People gave it 2 out of 4 for the most part, 52%. So over half of the Byte Club members were just satisfied with it. But with SmackDown Live, the go-home show to the Chamber, we got a solid 3 out of 4. 68% said it was solid. 23% said it was great. Not one person that voted said it was a bad show. To go directly to what you guys thought, which was the better show this week? Which one felt, remove the Chamber, we're just talking about the content on Raw and SmackDown Live, which one did you find enjoyable based on the matches and some of the segments that we got that don't include James HOGSWorth?
So confession time from my end of things. I had some prior commitments and missed SmackDown, but I did catch the highlights. And it seemed like a really good show. Very, very strong show. But as somebody that watched Raw, I can say that I very much enjoyed Raw as well. They got me this week with the carrot on the stick of Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe. I very much enjoyed that thread throughout the whole show. And I give it the best compliment that I can, that it didn't feel like 3 hours this week, which is the best thing you can say about Raw. But overall, I very much enjoyed the show.
Yeah, it was kind of a tie for me this week. I'd give both shows a 3 out of 4. Raw kind of had the higher highs, I think, with the whole Goldberg challenging Owens, and then you had the Samoa Joe contract signing with an awesome, like, Samoa Joe just killed it with his first like true promo opening the show, and then you cap it off with a great main event between him and Roman Reigns. SmackDown was also solid. It was a great Fatal 4-Way match. And the Ascension
won a match.
You're right, as I was about to say. The Ascension won a freaking match. The dual contract signing I thought was also good with the women's matches. So overall, both were very solid.
So I have a question about SmackDown that I hope to have answered. There's a lot of buzz for Luke Harper this week. I missed that. Why is there a lot of buzz for Luke Harper?
Basically, he had his own version of the Bray Wyatt promo, so like backstage, with the fog and all that stuff, and he delivered. Okay. Like he could have easily flopped, or worse yet, he could have sounded like he was trying to cut a Bray Wyatt promo. It's very easy to just sound like the person you're trying to emulate, but he was able to just be himself. Like he wasn't this crazy guy. If anything, he was so eloquent the way he spoke, but deep and dark, that it elevated him, because it showed like, hey man, like you've been my leader all this time, but I can exceed your craziness. I can get into your head. So like that alone pumped me up for the match with Randy, even though Harper tends to get the short end of the stick. But man, they got to do something with him, because that promo was really something.
Yeah, he also got involved with the Cena-Orton main event. Basically, once Wyatt was interfering or whatever, Harper got involved and was able to help Cena get the win back.
So sort of rewinding back a little bit, Raw was primarily focused about Samoa Joe. Now, they do have Fastlane, but that's in about 3 weeks' time, if I'm not mistaken. So right off the bat, as Keith, you mentioned, carrot on a stick, they wasted no time. Main event of Raw, Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns. This was the match that I was saying was going to happen for WrestleMania if Seth Rollins was still out of action, which apparently he is not out of action. He is scheduled to just continue the program. I guess he'll be back at some point, but the injury is not as severe as people have had thought of. So that's awesome. So we can just carry that conversation going later on. But here, I thought that the match was interesting. You know, we got the interference with Braun Strowman. Now, the one thing that I want to get, is the Muscle Buster gone? Or was this just a one-time thing? Because I did find it odd that in his first match on Raw, his finishing move was, I don't want to say the Uranagi, but basically like a side-sliding rock bottom, which he'd never done before, because he usually does that in the corner, right? Like when somebody goes to body splash him. Is that his move? Like, is there a reason? Like, I immediately thought, are they banning the Muscle Buster because of what happened to Tyson Kidd? I don't know. Like, do you guys think it's fine?
I don't think so, but I like the fact that they're changing it up a little bit. I'm going to say that, yes, that is probably going to be his new finisher because he beat Roman Reigns with it. So that's a pretty good stamp of like, hey, this is a very impactful move. And I'm okay with it. Like, yes, the Muscle Buster is awesome, but it can almost be like maybe we're moving away from just once, or like a superstar having one finisher, like the way that AJ Styles has the Styles Clash, the Phenomenal Forearm, the Calf Crusher. Maybe it's going to be another situation with Samoa Joe where he's got the Coquina Clutch, he's got the Muscle Buster for those big events. Just like, oh, nothing else is working, time to bring out the Muscle Buster, instead of just bringing it out right away. And then he's got this new move for those situations. So it's cool. It switches it up.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this ended up being one of his more main finishers, because the Muscle Buster is something that Joe's not going to be able to gracefully pull off on everybody on the roster. He's in a bigger pond now.
Strowman, man. He's a powerful man.
He's in a bigger pond now with bigger guys, and also it's WrestleMania season. Maybe Vince McMahon isn't comfortable with one of his top stars taking a move that already almost killed somebody else on his roster. So that could be, he's just a little gun shy about that to his main roster guys. It's very possible. I wouldn't rule out the Muscle Buster completely. I don't think it's banned, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's more like a special move it's an every once in a while type of move, just because things can go horribly wrong with it, even though Joe's a professional and they generally don't.
Yeah,
and I mean, the Muscle Buster takes some setup.
Yeah.
And this new one seems to come from out of nowhere. So I like when finishers you can't see them coming a mile away. So I think this new one is superior from that angle.
And it's just not bad that, we complain about people kicking out of the AA and all that stuff. So like Keith mentioned, you have your Styles Clash, but then you have the Phenomenal Forearm. So when Joe hits the Muscle Buster, that's good game. That's game over for whoever he's battling. And, well, here's the other topic that I'm a bit afraid of. So we are officially getting Goldberg versus Kevin Owens at Fastlane. We had talked about this briefly last week, and I'm getting some CM Punk versus The Rock vibes from this. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not looking forward to the match. I think that Kevin Owens kind of playing the cowardly character, maybe being afraid of Goldberg, but trying to act like he's not afraid is going to be a fun thing. But I think that we all know, or at least assume we know, where this is headed, where Goldberg can't lose this match, but at the same time, could they just go DQ? Okay, Keith's got something.
I'm probably super wrong here, but I hope I'm right. Do you remember many, many, many moons ago, it was a February pay-per-view, No Way Out to be specific, when one Eddie Guerrero capitalized on Bill Goldberg. I think it's time for Brock to get some revenge.
Ho ho.
Eh? That would not be a bad idea. Because I just don't see that
actually going to happen.
Probably not. It's probably going to lead to Goldberg versus Brock for the title.
See, we were out for this ride. I was ready for this, and
I hope that's what happens. It's like the sweetest revenge, and then it's kind of funny in the way that it is setting up Brock Lesnar versus Bill Goldberg almost exactly like their last match.
How did you guys react when you found out this was official?
I wasn't very surprised because I had been reading about it for weeks, and this was just kind of a confirmation of what I was already expecting. Although I was also kind of speculating beforehand that, it could be Owens versus Jericho for the, Universal title or whatever at WrestleMania. But now it's just becoming abundantly clear that it's more likely that Goldberg versus Brock will have the Universal title involved. I don't think it really needs the title, but it needs to kind of have a different... If they're not going to do a stipulation, then I guess you kind of need an angle that doesn't make it exactly like Survivor Series. So adding stakes with the Universal title, maybe Vince feels that the Universal title, it hasn't had that strong of a start, and they want to have someone like Goldberg and Brock Lesnar be a part of that lineage, and all of a sudden that title might mean more. So in a way, I kind of see where they're going with it and why it could actually be a good thing if we want to put a positive on what seems like partially a negative, because we're all afraid, okay, how badly... if Brock Lesnar lost to Goldberg at Survivor Series the way he did, how screwed is Kevin Owens? And they really need to... This may sound crazy, but Kevin Owens needs to fare better than Brock Lesnar did against Goldberg for the sake of WWE's regular full-time roster. Because if Kevin Owens holds the title from the summer all the way until now, and then just gets creamed by Goldberg, how does that make the whole roster look? It makes them look like complete crap.
It reminds me so much of the biggest Punk Rock thing because of that. Because when you remember Punk Rock, we all knew what was going to happen a year before.
Punk versus rock, not the music
Pistols,
genre.
The Ramones.
Yeah, exactly. Music genre, I'm a fan of both. But CM Punk versus The Rock, everybody knew that The Rock was winning. There's no way that CM Punk is losing.
But CM Punk did put up a fight.
But the problem is the focus. But look at what happened afterwards. And that's the big problem always. It's that, okay, so they did something, but then the focus is all on the big guys. What happens after WrestleMania? It's the ongoing thing we complain about.
I mean, the attention of Kevin Owens is going to be drawn to Jericho, because Jericho will probably screw this up for him in some way, and that's... at least there's some story. He's not just left in the cold. There's somewhere for him to go after all this happens. Basically, all I'm asking for in this situation, because there's a chance, Brock Lesnar interferes, right? And the title does not change hands. But it doesn't really make sense, because the match is already set for WrestleMania. So what does Brock Lesnar really need to do? If anything, why would Brock Lesnar interfere when he has a chance to win the Universal title by just chilling and letting this play out, you know?
So, realistically, in a world where the SmackDown main event isn't going to be John Cena versus Randy Orton, you need that big match to close out the show. You need that WrestleMania main event. And if it's going to be for a title, it's probably going to be Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. Kevin Owens probably isn't a big enough star, even though that's shitty to say, a big enough star to fill that role.
Yeah.
As much as we like Kevin Owens, we have to call a spade a spade. He's not a huge star in mainstream popularity. So this is all I'm asking of this. I'll sign off on Goldberg winning the title. Just don't have Kevin Owens look like a bitch, basically. Just don't make him look like shit. Just actually have him put up a fight against Goldberg. He's held the title for quite a long time. Just don't make him look terrible.
Put it this way.
But then you're asking Goldberg to have a long match.
No. All we're asking is throw one punch. Because that's more offense
I'm asking for more than that. Okay, he's got to really lace him in.
2 punches.
No.
You're probably not going to get that,
I'm talking I want a 15-minute damn match, at least.
No, that ain't happening. Whoa. Ryan, what? Be honest, Ryan. Be honest about what you're thinking.
I'm being 100% honest.
And you're going to be 100% disappointed, because you're not getting that.
There's still time. Okay, Vince, I know you listen, man. 15 minutes. That's all I'm asking.
You are so wrong. Holy shit. You forgot
that the Vince that listens to us is Russo. Actually, none of them do, but I get exactly where you're coming from.
No, Vincent Vega is the one that listens to us.
There you go. But I will be insanely surprised
Vincent.
If we get...
There's Vincent there.
That is close enough, but I'll be very surprised if we get at least a 10-minute match. Sans entrances, a 10-minute match is about an 8 minutes longer match.
Be longer than 5 minutes, please. 15 minutes is ideal, but you know what? 10 is passable.
Kevin Owens just run around the ring.
Name one Goldberg classic that went longer than 8 minutes.
How long was the WrestleMania 20 match? That's not a classic, but how long was it?
I don't know, but it was around 13 minutes.
How long? Oh, wait, what about his match with, was it Hogan that he had a match with?
We're not going places here. We're really just not doing well here. So Goldberg just have a match of some sort that makes Kevin Owens look good. We know what we're talking about. We're wrestling professionals. Because we just watch professional wrestling, so I guess that's kind of close enough, maybe.
We're professional watchers of professional wrestling.
There we go. So before we get to our Elimination Chamber predictions, I do want to bring up one fun topic, and that is Talking Smack. Now, I had not watched the show in a couple of weeks. I don't know if Keith has heard about this. If not, this is the perfect time to find out.
I made sure to make time to watch Talking Smack, so I'm caught up on this.
So Dana Bryan just really doesn't care. Like, he just has so much fun. But that's what makes the show great, because he's able to blur the lines between reality and fiction in a way that makes a storyline progress. So we had like Baron Corbin in there, but then James Ellsworth was not on this week's SmackDown Live. And then all of a sudden, he asks Renee if she knows why he is with Carmella, and then calls him James HOGSWorth, if you know what I'm saying. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Big hug, James Ellsworth.
Yeah. So Renee just loses it. And she is like the most adorable human being, because you can tell she's like trying to laugh professionally, but just can't. It's like she is just bursting out of laughter, because how do you deal with that? You're basically talking about the
Any
man's
man
ding-dong.
with two big hands has a fighting chance, baby.
Oh, yeah. But I love this so much. It adds some kind of character.
Daniel
at least
Bryan
8
brings
inches of
Talking
character
Smack to another level. And,
really
that's
does.
what's great about it. And this Talking Smack really had everything. Because you had like the whole continuation of the Nikki Bella and Natalya feud, where damn, Nikki getting smashed up against the glass underneath the table is some crazy innovative offense that actually looked really, really sick. And then John Cena, of course, is like, I guess my girlfriend just got her ass whooped. Isn't that interesting?
Like, I think you're selling Cena a little short on this episode of Talking Smack, because he was pretty great on it.
No, he was great. His initial reaction was kind of funny though, because he was just like, "Oh, okay, I guess that happened." But obviously later on, he does completely sell it. But his initial reaction was pretty hilarious. But I mean, you had this Baron Corbin is a guy who I feel like is I don't know how they decide the rotation for Talking Smack, but I feel like Baron Corbin is definitely utilizing his time very well, because he's on Talking Smack almost like every other episode, and he's really I feel like his character is really progressing well because of the time he's been utilizing, and he really stays consistent and is really kind of painting a very strong character, an independent character who's like, he's kind of like he's kind of fair. He's not just a heel, I'm going to cheat all the time. He's like, no, this is what I'm going to do. Maybe a little overly confident.
Knows what he wants.
But he's established.
Make those stack cash.
He's established very well what his character is, not just being like, I'm going to do this because it's the heel thing to do, not even if it doesn't make sense for my character. So Talking Smack is great.
Indeed it is, my friend. So anybody that hasn't watched it, I know 205 Live is right there in between, which is, it was apparently not a bad show. I didn't watch it, but I got to see some clips.
Do you notice?
I pulled a Keith with that.
And this can't be by accident, is when you start watching Talking Smack, lately, they've been showing like the last 2 seconds of 205 Live, like just as it fades out. I don't know if you get that when you watch it. But when I watch it on mobile, I don't, maybe my thing is weird, so people let me know if the same thing happens to you. But every time I click to watch Talking Smack, it shows me like the last 1 to 2 seconds of 205 Live, just as it's fading out. And I'm like, I wonder if
they want to get you to watch.
I wonder if they're doing that so that people are like, I wonder what just happened on that show. Like, maybe I'll go watch it. Like, they're trying to promote it.
That would not be a bad idea. They got to get some more eyeballs on it.
Weird little interesting tidbit.
So without further ado, This is the moment where we are going to be giving our predictions to the Chamber, the Elimination Chamber, happening this Sunday. By the way, I will be providing a review. Hopefully, I'm not dead by yet, and I have a better voice than I do right now, because this is not working out
I may have to step in. We'll see.
No, I can do this. By the way, I forgot to plug it at the beginning of the show. All patrons, for just $1, you get access to a raw and uncut video version of the show. So if you want to see me dying right now, you can pretty much just watch that version right now and have a little bit of fun with that. It is quite entertaining. So here's how we're going to do. We're going to do Keith, Ryan, and myself. We're going to talk about every match, give our details about our hype level, about what we think about the characters, and ultimately who is going to win. So without further ado, let's kick things off with the most unique match. We have a handicap match. So Dolph Ziggler is scheduled to battle Kalisto and Apollo Crews 2-on-1.
This match is so weird. Why?
Okay.
I mean, that's kind of like the whole question for this feud in general. Just why? Why is this a thing?
I can have an entire, and this is not exaggerated, I can have an entire conversation about Dolph Ziggler podcast length, because they finally turned the man heel, right? So he's supposed to get booed, but then people love it when he hits people with steel chairs. So on SmackDown, everybody's just chanting, one more time, you're beating all these guys, because
is that because they like Ziggler? Yeah, is that because they like Ziggler, or just that Apollo Crews and Kalisto are just non-factors?
It's a combination of both, because Dolph Ziggler turned heel, and like the first 2 weeks, he was kind of like quieter, but he is literally babyface Dolph Ziggler, but bad guy now. He walks the same, talks the same, has the same speed when he cuts a promo. He is the same like sarcastic guy, except now he wields a steel chair. That is the big change. And I think we talked about this off air where we said, I kind of see why Dolph Ziggler maybe didn't get that main event push at some point. And I kind of see it, because like right now, I feel so neutral about the guy. If you wielding a chair is like a heel turn, then the whole damn roster is turned heel at some point. So Ryan, give me your feedback about this, and then we'll do a round thing to figure out who's going to win.
Yeah, no, Dolph Ziggler's character, I think I expected a little bit more. I just don't find anything particularly interesting about it. I was hoping after the initial turn that really more of his character would kind of develop, but it's just kind of the same routine of, I'm going to lose a match, get mad, and beat people up with a steel chair. Nothing else. I don't really see where it's going. Ziggler is basically he just feels like a non-factor on SmackDown right now. There's too many other better things going on.
So with that being said, who comes out the winner?
Probably Ziggler. He'll probably end up beating Kalisto with Crews out of the picture. But the real answer is, who cares?
Ryan, give me your prediction again, my friend.
I'm going to say that Kalisto and Crews win this match, because they're kind of emphasizing the continued losing streak sort of Dolph Ziggler. So, plus, I mean, come on. Kalisto and Crews are guys they're trying to actually build up as baby faces. If they're going to lose a handicap match, that's no bueno.
That's how you build baby faces. They're fighting one guy in a handicap match. That is how you do it.
Yeah, right?
I love SmackDown.
Makes total sense.
But if there's one corner of SmackDown that I don't get, it's the corner with Kalisto, Apollo Crews, and Dolph Ziggler. Like Heath, don't really care who wins, but I'm assuming Ziggler wins, because I feel weird celebrating the two good guys beat up one bad guy in a handicap match. A little weird. So up next, we have a lot of women's division matches. The first one we're going to get to now is Becky Lynch versus Mickie James. We had the double contract signing, which I very much enjoyed. I was not a fan of the Natty Nikki Bella thing. I thought that we get it. You're supposed to be offensive. You're supposed to like, hey, I would be with John Cena if I wasn't married. But you've been doing this for weeks. Like, it just feels like, oh, yo, mama
Natty's strong
jokes.
point has never been a microphone.
No. So I'm looking forward to that match, and I know that's not the one that we're talking about. I just want to clarify. I'm looking forward to the match, but less is more. We get the point. Plus, on Talking Smack, we got something way better than the promo, which is just, I'm going to smash your face into the glass. So now going back to Becky Lynch versus Mickie James, what are your thoughts about this story and ultimately who wins?
This is the match that I hope more than any other match on the card exceeds expectations. I really hope that this match is good because I feel like this is going to be very pivotal for Mickie James going forward more than Becky Lynch, where since she's debuted, like Mickie James has just kind of been there. I mean that like in a less negative way than it probably sounds, but she hasn't really made all that much of an impact when you think about it. So if this match kind of underdelivers, it could easily lead to Mickie James just kind of falling away and then not really having an impact on SmackDown. But I don't think she's going to win this match. I'm going to say that Becky Lynch probably still ends up winning, but it's still a good performance.
Mickie James already lost her match at the Royal Rumble, so I really think that she's probably going to win here. I really like her promo this week, and her character makes perfect sense. You know, the women's revolution's going on now, but it's like, hey, you know, Mickie James wasn't doing nothing a couple of years ago. Things were actually going on. Women's wrestling had some momentum at that time, and she's gonna kind of come back and show everyone, hey, you know, some of the old school women can still go. I think it's very important that Mickie James gets a win here. It's unfortunate it's at the expense of Becky Lynch, but I think it's going to be a great match.
I agree. I think it's going to be very enjoyable. It's going to prove some naysayers because I think Mickie James still has some people that think she's part of the Divas revolution, not so much the women's revolution. You know, she was a Divas champion. She was at the post-Trish Stratus era as well, which was not that great. But I've been a fan of this storyline. It's simple. It's not... I think the reason, Keith, why you feel like she's just sort of there is because she supports the current women's champion. So she's not really looking for the championship. She's looking for recognition, which is a little bit different. So that's why I like this. Not everything has to be for a championship. And if there's something that we got to give them credit for, is that they do that a lot with the women.
Has that hit that mark yet? And I feel like we're at a point where we're at that turning point where we will go forward saying yes or no. And I think a lot rides on on this match for that.
Well, at least I don't feel that pressure because there's a lot happening on the SmackDown. So, like, if you look at the Raw Women's Division, it's different because it's not so much that it's small, but it feels like only a few people matter, right? So if something flops, then it's bad. But look at this pay-per-view. You have 3 women's matches, and all 3 of them have a build-up.
Which kind of really feeds into my point, because if this is the worst of the 3 women's matches, then you can just kind of brush Mickie James off like, oh, okay, whatever. There's so many better things going on around it.
Well, at the same time, and I don't want to go too deeply into this now, because I think that on the road to WrestleMania, like after this pay-per-view, we'll get like clarification. Mickie James has done it. Like it being women's champion, Divas champion. She doesn't need to do that much more. I think that it's just a way to put, hey, here's this established person, and she is there. She is the Rhino to the tag division as she is to the women's division, if you really think about it that way. So that being said, I'm going to go with... I got to go with Mickie James. I do got to go with her. I just think that if she loses this one, then I kind of get your point, Keith, and I kind of see where maybe not a lot happens afterwards. At the same time, it seems like Becky Lynch always gets the short end of the stick when she's not the champion. But at the same time, I kind of like that.
Because people like her. So yeah, she won't lose anything. Mickie has a lot more to lose.
Agreed. So yeah, for that, I'm going to be going with Mickie James. And now up next, we're going to be talking about the next match in the women's division. This is Nikki Bella versus Natty. And now, just to add something to this, there are rumors that Nikki Bella is going to take some time off after, I believe it's WrestleMania, because her neck is acting up. And now, Dana Bryan actually brought that up a little bit, and I don't think he meant that in character at Talking Smack, because he compared his previous injuries to the ones that Nikki has had. So I'm almost thinking that what they're doing on Talking Smack is just so like she's purposefully limited in the matches that she's going to be involved on from here on out because of her neck. But regardless, you know, like Nikki is much better in the ring than Brie Bella ever was. So if this is like her slowing down because of injuries, That was the only good thing that happened from Brie, in my opinion.
Was that a good thing?
Yeah, in a bad way, it was a good thing. I at least enjoyed it. Plus, we said it here. So, what you guys think about Nikki versus Natty, and then who wins?
So this match is no disqualification, just to confirm. Yes,
I believe so. It? I'll look up. I'll confirm this information. But meanwhile, do go on.
I think this has potential to be a great match where there ain't going to be nothing pretty about it. They're just going to beat the hell out of each other. And I don't think there's really much else to say than what we haven't already said. And I think, this will be a great match. And Nikki Bella probably wins because that's the way it goes. Natty wins nothing ever.
Feels bad, man. This match, I'll be disappointed if this match starts and they lock up or something. I want to see a lot of strikes, a lot of viciousness, and keeping up the intensity that they've had. Like, their attacks have been like throwing each other into things. So let's keep that up. Let's not just start suplexing each other because
bowling shoe ugly, as Jim Ross says.
Great word, great phrase rather. That Jim Ross would say. Yeah, that's what I want to see. I think Nikki Bella will also win because seems like they'll set something up for Nikki Bella at WrestleMania. There's rumors she may be retiring at WrestleMania because of her neck. But either way, she's probably either going to take some time off or not. But she's the one that will probably be doing something at WrestleMania, so they'll probably have her get the win.
And I just checked, and it's scheduled to just be a one-on-one match, but I'm hoping that they go, based on what Ryan just said, that they don't have a match at the beginning, so almost it would be disqualified or something. So then D-Bry comes out, hey, it's a no DQ match. Plus, it also helps. Like, if Nikki is limited in the ring because of her health issues right now, they can just basically punch and kick each other, like hit each other in the back. They can get creative without having to do a lot of stuff in the ring. So I'm hoping that they do that. And yeah, I don't see anywhere where Natty gets the win because it's a very one-sided storyline when you think about how many times Nikki has been taken out of action by Natty, all the comments, like, this is the redemption storyline. And I think that this is about the point where it should maybe not conclude, but we get just like a solid one-upmanship on behalf of Nikki Bella. Now, up next, the SmackDown tag titles are going to be in a turmoil because American Alpha is going to defend their tag titles against the Usos, the Ascension. I put the kids, Heath Slater and Rhino. I didn't understand my own purpose of writing that. Just put the kids on the agenda versus Breezango and versus the Vaudevillains. So, Keith, why are the Vaudevillains walking out as tag champs?
I don't have any.
You got nothing, man. I tried.
I've got nothing.
Yeah.
I was thinking of some sort of Simon Gotch joke, but honestly, I couldn't think of anything. So, tag team turmoil. What is tag team turmoil? Is this like the two teams start, one team gets...
Yeah, I think it's gauntlet style.
Okay.
Because otherwise it's just way too much people.
That's just all the people around the ring. I think this will be a lot of fun, and American Alpha probably walk away with the tag team titles. I hope they go into WrestleMania as tag team champions.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like any other tag team is positioned to win the titles from them. No one's really stood out recently. When you kind of just have an open challenge set by American Alpha and all teams are kind of coming out equally and seem like they're all on equal footing against American Alpha and nobody's really standing out, then you're like, unless they want to go for some shocking win, it probably just means that American Alpha is going to retain.
Yeah. Fun little fact. I was at a house show this weekend. The SmackDown Live crew was in Winnipeg, and minus the Vaudevillains, they had this exact match, and it was really good. So I'm assuming it'll be really good again.
Yeah, I have no doubt it's going to be an entertaining match. Whenever you have a lot of guys, it's just about hitting the big spots. I have no doubt that the Vaudevillains are going to lose to like a German suplex at the very beginning of the match or something like that. But yeah, like the American Alpha are the most solid tag team they have on SmackDown. They just haven't really done a lot with them. But I believe that this is where you introduce the Revival into the scene, where the storyline can basically be, hey, we had kick-ass matches in NXT. You've gone over every SmackDown tag team. So now logically, we are up next. So I'm hoping that American Alpha retains, but they need some character. They need some more personality. I think they lost a lot of that on the road to SmackDown Live for whatever reason, but they need that right now. Now, the next match is a singles match, and I'm very much looking forward to this one because I don't know what to expect. It is Luke Harper versus the number one contender to the championship, Randy Orton.
In what regard do you not know what to expect? Because to me, this seems like a very cut and dry. Randy Orton's going into the WrestleMania the WrestleMania Championship match, and there's no way in hell he loses.
Oh yeah, I don't see him losing, but it would suck that for all the good promos that Harper had this week, all the involvement, I don't want this to be a one-sided match where, hey, Randy is the number one contender, so he's going to destroy Luke Harper in the process.
I don't think it'll be that. I mean, Orton and Harper have had great matches in the past. It'll probably be another one of those.
But Randy
Orton
wasn't
wins.
the number one contender then, like at least right now. So magically, he's going to become more powerful. It's
True.
just pure logic. So that's why I'm afraid about it. But who do you think's going to walk out the winner then? I mean, it's obviously Randy, but do you see it as a 50-50 match? I guess I want to ask that.
If probably closer to like 60-40, where it will be back and forth for a while, and I think they will, especially like if Luke Harper had a hell of a good week last week, they will make Harper look strong, so he's just not like thrown to the wayside. But in the end, Orton will hit his RKO, and then they'll move on to WrestleMania.
Yeah, Randy Orton, no question, will win this match. The thing is, I mean, just Harper having a pay-per-view match against Randy Orton automatically is elevating him. He doesn't necessarily have to win as long as he at least gets the 60-40, like Keith was saying, and obviously Harper getting the 40 end of that. Yeah, I mean, this is a great opportunity for Harper to really establish himself as a singles guy. The guy has all the tools. It's an interesting look for a babyface role, and I don't know how they're going to pull it off, but Harper's a badass, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Weird babyface role. You mean like a tank top and jeans aren't like ultimate babyface?
A greasy tank top. Maybe when he's a true babyface, he'll just have a fresh tank top on.
But then people will just confuse him for Dean Ambrose, man. You got to watch out for that.
That's true. There's
oh my god,
two guys with
tag
jeans
team.
and yeah. Oh my god.
Yes, I have a tag team name for it based on the shirts, but I won't say it here. Okay,
no,
so,
we're not gonna say that.
Yeah,
no, not going there at all. But yeah,
holy domestic abuse, Maggle.
No, please no. But Orton's gonna get the solid victory here, and Luke Harper, he needs to do something at WrestleMania, and I don't think it's gonna happen.
It's called the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
It's called the Armbar.
Damn it! Well,
but
at least we get to see him live.
Or it's that or an Intercontinental ladder match or whatever the hell.
You dismiss the armbar, but it has a lot of potential to be really big this year.
There's a lot of.
He's referring to the Andre the
guys,
Giant Battle Royal.
I get you.
Yeah,
I get you.
The armbar is the Andre.
I know. I'm just saying that for listeners who aren't aware.
Thank you. Women's title match: Alexa Bliss versus Naomi. Now, this match is getting a lot of hate, and I kind of don't get why. Because we talk about WWE building new stars. They put Naomi in the title scene, and a lot of the comments that I'm reading is, how come it's not Becky Lynch or Mickie James, where they have their matches. And then here's Naomi, who has greatly improved in the ring. She has maybe the best entrance in WWE. Like, I bet Keith is jealous every week that he watches it, because he would love to go into work like that. So what the hell? Honestly, I'm very shocked by that.
Like I've said in the past, Naomi's entrance makes me miss drugs, but it seems like a situation where... yeah, don't. But it just seems like a situation where maybe people don't actually know what they want. And now that we're getting something new, it like people just kind of poo-poo on it. But I think this is just like a side effect of almost like the reverse effect of Raw, where you have so much good women's action going on the show that just by like process of elimination, one of the matches has to be the worst match. And people are perceiving this as the worst one because you've got the star power, like the star power involved in the other two. But this is totally a builder match for both of these women, where both of them could end up coming out looking very strong, win or lose, and developing themselves as like bigger stars on the scene. And as far as who wins, it'll probably be Alexa Bliss.
This match definitely has the biggest potential to be a disaster. I don't think it's going to be. I hope it's not bad. I'm just saying, I think both of these individuals are talented, but I don't know how established they are on, carrying a match. We've seen Alexa Bliss work with a lot of great people, but this is kind of a test for her. And Naomi, I think, obviously very athletic, but, I've never seen either of them like carry a match. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. And I really do hope it's good. And I think it can be good. I'm just, not so sure how it will actually play out. I'm happy to see Naomi get a shot. She's definitely overdue. I think maybe a lot of people on the internet complain about it because Naomi isn't one of the internet darling women. If it's not Becky Lynch,
always a fucking
Sasha
Dactyl,
Banks,
I guess, yeah,
or Bayley, then they're not happy about it, apparently. I like to see new people get opportunities, and it's like pretty much every single woman on the SmackDown roster is doing something, and that's what's awesome. And it was Naomi's shot to do something relevant, and I'm happy to see it. All that being said, Alexa Bliss will without question win.
Yeah, I think Alexa Bliss is definitely going to win, but this is the type of match that I enjoy where it's uncertainty. As you mentioned, we always have either Sasha or Charlotte or Becky Lynch involved in the big stakes women matches in the main roster, so we always look to them as sort of the, I guess, captains to deliver a great match. But here, we have two women that have yet to do that. So if they can do that, they will be then elevated. And then they can have whatever match they want afterwards. So I'm very happy about that. But yes, Alexa Bliss is probably going to win. Now, before we get to our Elimination Chamber match predictions, do want to remind everybody that on our YouTube channel, we actually have an Elimination Chamber simulated match with all of the entrants. We actually recorded this during the 12-hour Wrestling Game Marathon this past weekend. We edited it. It's up on the YouTube channel Byte as well as vid.me/ByteThat. So you can kind of guess our predictions if you already watched, because that's up right now and some people have already seen that. But the match pits people such as John Cena, who is the champion, AJ Styles, the former champion, Bray Wyatt, is he ever going to become a champion? Dean Ambrose, former champion, The Miz, who's awesome, and then Baron Corbin. The
lone wolf. Give him something, man. Come on.
He's Baron Corbin. He's Baron Corbin, man. He can walk out. I would not be surprised about
Connect 4, Baron Corbin.
Connect 4? 4 chambers? Forever? Coincidence?
Hey.
I think not.
Illuminati confirmed.
There you go.
What's this about an all-new chamber? Do you know anything about this?
They sold the other one?
That there's like a new potential. Yeah. I did hear that they're potentially going to dish out a new chamber, kind of like how they changed the Hell in a Cell up like 10 years ago or something.
Yeah. Okay, I was just wondering if they elaborated it more.
I don't know. Are they going to make it taller too, like they did with the Hell in a Cell? I don't see the point of that. But, it wouldn't surprise me because
it's going to be a triangle now.
Yeah,
it's just a pyramid.
It wouldn't surprise me because I made a video a while back saying like, oh man, WWE dropped the Elimination Chamber. And then sure enough, like 5 months later, it came back. But there was an issue that as stadiums have continued to like remodel and things, that the chamber is actually an issue, a logistics issue for several stadiums. So it's very possible that they designed a new chamber that is able to fit in like
or
renovated
less material
stadiums.
That is like maybe more like lighter aluminum or something.
Yeah, so my guess is it's probably like lighter and whatever, but they'll like advertise it as like this is a more deadly version of the chamber, even though it's probably just a completely logistics
wire
thing.
On the floor.
Yeah.
Whew. That sounds like a good time. But all that being said, the Elimination Chamber is one of my favorite matches of the year. I hope it's good. I hope so bad that it's good. This is a situation where, like, I don't know. It's just, there's so many, like, the stakes are so high on it that I honestly don't know who's going to win. I still feel like it's going to be Cena. I'm going with what I said last week, and John Cena's going to walk out. Yeah.
But he's going to walk out.
I don't know. Yeah,
not even champion. Walk out. He's just going to walk out.
He's just going to walk out. Eventually, John Cena is going to leave that arena at some point, and my prediction will be correct. But no, I think John Cena is still going to win the Elimination Chamber. I don't see it otherwise, but I don't feel confident in saying that either. But I do think it's going to be an incredible match.
There's no way that they do Cena versus Orton at WrestleMania, especially when they just did the match on SmackDown. Bray Wyatt will shock the world, but not really, because people are expecting it. I think Bray Wyatt will win.
And that's why I don't think Wyatt's going to win, because it's that everybody's expecting it thing.
But what if people are expecting it, so they're thinking it's not going to happen because they think that we do expect it, so then they surprise us with the expected, and the expected is then unexpected.
This is going to be a weird thing to say, but even though I'm sort of expecting it, I'm still going to be very surprised if Bray Wyatt does win.
That is not how words work.
I know, but you know what I'm saying, though? We're all I'm favoring Bray Wyatt here, and a lot of people are, because storyline-wise, it makes the most sense. But being burned in the past so many times with Bray Wyatt, it's still going to be like, wow, they actually let Bray Wyatt win the title.
I have a question. Have we gotten Randy Orton versus AJ Styles yet?
No.
What about that? For a WrestleMania main event.
That's definitely a thing. It's just they're both heel right now.
So that's not hard to change in a couple of weeks.
It's true.
And AJ is not a heel. Look at this week's SmackDown, where he was getting a standing ovation while cutting a promo. He is trying to just talk smack to the fans to get them to boo him.
And they cheer him more.
Exactly. It's like, oh my God, he's telling us that he hates us. I love you, AJ.
Yeah, honestly, if they don't go with that match at this year's WrestleMania, I would not be surprised if that's something that they're saving for next year's WrestleMania. I believe they've purposely kept those two away from each other because they do eventually want to do a big match between the two.
I'm changing my pick. I really want it to be AJ Styles now. I'm going 100% with my heart on this one, but
So we go back and
because
forth
nobody's expecting it. It's that one that nobody's expecting. Nobody's even really talking about it.
So if you're expecting it now, it's not going to happen.
That's true. I'm setting myself up for disappointment. It's like Finn Balor being in the Rumble.
So this is what you're going to do. You're going to expect Samoa Joe winning, and then AJ wins, and then you're surprised.
Exactly.
So that's going to end up happening.
So I'm changing my prediction to be less expecting Cena winning, but I'm still expecting Cena to win, but would like AJ Styles to win. Okay, I think I've maneuvered my way around this.
So now it's going to happen. Now you're going to get what you want. And I agree with
one way or another.
I believe that Bray Wyatt is going to win. By the way, if Randy versus AJ happens, the finish is going to be phenomenal to the RKO. Phenomenal for RKO is going to be.
But you're expecting that finish, so.
God damn it! We got to stop predicting. I just realized this whole thing. But if we go by Ryan's predictions, we're probably not going to get Wyatt winning. But I do believe that it's time. Bray Wyatt, I don't think he's ever going to get that one-on-one championship win for whatever reason, because otherwise we would have gotten that by now. So I think that this Elimination Chamber match is the best route. They can maybe do some magic stuff, have the lights go out. I don't care. Do whatever it takes, because you're already building up the story of Randy versus Bray. May as well do that, right? So that has been it for our predictions. Definitely drop a comment on YouTube or social media. Let us know who you think is going to win in the chamber. You can also send us an email to bytethatcast@gmail.com. Now, before we get to the questions, as I mentioned, we had the 12-hour wrestling video game marathon that happened this past weekend on twitch.tv/bytethat. And guys, it was an awesome time. We streamed for 12 hours, 4 hours apiece, and consistently we had a lot of people in chat, even as far as donating for the kids in Extra Life. That was not even expected, but you guys are just awesome. We got patrons out of it. So it shows that the Byte Club is real. People are getting integrated here. You know, we're on the road to WrestleMania. We're going to be doing some Facebook Live stuff, and you guys show up. You guys hang out with us, and honestly, that's better than most videos that we do because it's live. We did a live play that, which was another layer of added pressure, right?
It was an awesome time. At first, the original plan was, okay, Juan will do 4 hours, Keith will do 4 hours, I'll do 4 hours, and, we'll all hang out a little bit in between, like the other guy, during each other's blocks. But then at some point it just became, no, we're basically gonna stick it out the whole 12 hours with the three of us for the majority of the time. And people,
let's give credit where credit's actually due. You two stuck it out. I did not get a lot of sleep.
Keith, you were there for at least like a combined 8 hours.
Oh, absolutely.
Of that 12-hour stream. Juan and I were there for pretty much the entire time. And we had people in chat that were there for the entire 12 hours, which is insane.
Crazy.
It was a good time. Awesome. Like I said, we didn't expect to get donations. That we got very generous donations, and it was just awesome to interact with you guys live. And we'll definitely be planning to do some more event-like streams down the line, because this was awesome, a huge success, and a ton of fun. We did a lot of Royal Rumbles throughout many different wrestling games.
Those were something, especially the key portion.
We found what a disaster a No Mercy Royal Rumble can be when it's exclusively computer simulated.
Yes, there are a lot of good things about No Mercy. The Royal Rumble mode is not one of them. But yeah, overall, it was a ton of fun. I got to play some of my favorite wrestling video games, that being Def Jam Vendetta. Still, I believe more than ever that it is one of the best games of all time, and I just had a ton of fun doing it. Thank you, everybody that came and hung out with us, and yeah, stay tuned for more in the future.
Yeah, as Ryan mentioned, we definitely got some ideas based on this. So, first we got WrestleMania. We're going to be having a lot of things happening there, as well as your awesome questions. So let's get to those now. Remember, every week you can send them, bytethatcast@gmail.com. Also on Twitter, bytethatcast, using the hashtag AskBT. Now you know the deal. Keith takes over. Keith
this is my
brings
part.
up the questions,
All right.
and then we answer.
Okay. So without further ado, our first question comes in from Jarrett Q, who asks, what are your thoughts on Baron Corbin in skinny jeans? Not the toughest look, in my opinion.
I thought it was not too bad. It didn't take away from Baron Corbin for me at all. I thought the jeans look is fine. If they're a little bit skinny, whatever, it didn't really take anything away for me for his look and what he's trying to put out there.
I think that he saw what happened with Batista a couple of years ago, where he ripped the pants SpongeBob style and said, you know what? I'm going to do what cannot be done, which is show up in wrestling in skinny jeans and get away with it. So for that alone, you got to give Corbin some credit. And yeah, I really didn't mind it. Plus, we're supposed to not like the guy. So if skinny jeans is a method to hate the guy, dude, skinnier, tighter. Go for it, man.
What? Why do people hate skinny jeans?
I don't know.
Because I don't feel that hatred. They look nicer than baggy jeans. Baggy jeans look kind of gross on human beings, at least in my opinion. Ryan, have you worn skinny
jeans? You're a tall guy. It seems like you could pull them off.
I wear kind of like the boot cut fit or just like a standard fit.
Okay.
I don't when I was in high school or middle school or whatever.
Oh yeah, everybody makes bad decisions
were a thing.
Yeah.
Then but they're not really a thing now, at least for me, unless you're like a rapper or something. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend like I understand anything.
Ever.
So yeah, I can't pull. I'm not the skinny jeans type. I don't look good with it, so I don't try to pull that off.
That's fair, but with Baron Corbin, I don't have a problem with it either, because for Corbin's look, it's probably better than tights. Because that, in my mind, seems very weird. So, of the two, why not pick the better one?
Plus, it's probably like stretchy, like flex skinny jeans. So, they're skinny jeans, but they can flex, so he can like super kick, somebody if he wants. At some point,
was he just wearing it as like casual wear last week?
Well, yeah, but hey, if he's got to get some action going on, like in the ring,
if he gets into a brawl or whatever,
exactly, he can still wear
them. Exactly. When there's a will, there's a way, damn it. So thank you for the question. Our next one comes in from Joe W., who asks, if Bray wins at the Elimination Chamber and faces Randy Orton at WrestleMania, who do you guys think ends up winning? And does Eric Rowan make his return to help Bray?
Eric Rowan needs to go as far away. Like, not even Raw. Like, 205 Live. Like, don't even be in the same show or go to NXT.
Which show is Eric Rowan on? I remember
Smackdown.
Nothing this
he's
week.
On Smackdown.
Okay.
At the beginning of the Orton and Bray feud.
Remember
Rowan was in the little like saw maze that Bray Wyatt had?
Yeah, okay, I remember
they just swapped them out. So we have Luke Harper now. But who goes over at WrestleMania? It's going to be Randy. Like, as much as the guy that wants Bray Wyatt to win at the Chamber and be a champion for a while, it's WrestleMania we're talking about. And WrestleMania is the feel-good show. WrestleMania is the show for the mainstream audience, for the people that maybe don't tune in every week. And a lot of people remember Randy from Evolution and all the things he's done. So even if Bray wins, I believe Randy goes over at Mania.
Yeah, I definitely think Randy will most likely win if that is what ends up happening. I could see Eric Rowan showing up at WrestleMania as the first time we see him in forever, as sort of like maybe there's a part where the match just gets really chaotic and then all of a sudden Eric Rowan tries to interfere or whatever, or Eric Rowan returns to get his rematch with The Rock at WrestleMania. That could happen.
That big WrestleMania moment when Eric Rowan returns, it's going to be up there with the spear off the top of the ladder and Hulk Hogan.
But you know what I mean?
Body slamming Andre the Giant.
In a similar way to how like there was just chaos at Survivor Series, I could see if they're throwing a bunch of bells and whistles into that match, that it's like, what, Eric Rowan just shows up out of nowhere to interfere, to help Bray, because Bray doesn't have Harper anymore, so they throw Rowan into the mix.
So for all the reasons you guys just said is exactly why I think Bray Wyatt winning the Elimination Chamber would be a bummer. Because you expect him to hold the title for a month.
Damn.
And that's a bit of a downer.
Damn you and your logic.
Yeah, but we're just predicting with our brains, not our hearts, That's not how we really feel, Keith.
If this match did happen, I have to agree that Randy has to win. Because, and once again, if it's this whole Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton thing, it started out with Randy Orton being the good guy. So why would Bray end up winning at the end, you know what I mean? So thank you for the question. Our next one comes in from Sam H., who asks, who would your ultimate all-time Elimination Chamber lineup be? You have to include one current wrestler who is not a current champion to make it more interesting.
Okay, so it can have older people, but it must include somebody current, right?
Yes, that is not a current champion.
Okay, so somebody that is not a current champion, so you got to get Brock Lesnar in there.
Randy Orton is fair game. Yes.
So you got to have your Brock Lesnar, you got to have your... honestly, I would like a joke pick, like somebody like an Enzo Amore, kind of like we got the Enzo Amore Brock Lesnar thing. Somebody whose job is just to get killed in it, like just thrown everywhere, like break the pods, all of that stuff. I think that would be pretty fun. Those are two guys I'm thinking of so far. What about you guys?
All right. The ultimate this might be the slowest match ever, but it would just be the ultimate big guy badass chamber where you get Undertaker, Kane, Big Show, Braun Strowman, Brock Lesnar, and Goldberg.
Jeez. Damn,
and
that's like slow motion on a pole match.
Like, every one of those glass panels is gonna break, and it's just gonna be complete destruction.
For me, the easy answer for at least half the match is the Shield. Put Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns in there. I have to agree with Brock Lesnar, because Brock Lesnar seems like somebody that could do some work in the Elimination Chamber match. One? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't really recall right now.
And for two more people, let's say Triple H, because Triple H and his name is Jeff Harvey.
So here's mine. I'm trying to build a realistic, fun match with different mixes, right? So it would be Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar, Enzo Amore, Cesaro, Braun Strowman, and AJ Styles. You have high flying, you have power, you have your funny moment, and then you have incredible ability in somebody like Cesaro. I think those guys can make a kick-ass chamber match happen.
Yeah, I can get behind that. So thank you for the question. Our next one comes in from Daniel F., who asks, if the plan was to have AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura at WrestleMania 33, how would you book it, starting from the Elimination Chamber match?
Let's see. I guess, assuming AJ doesn't win the title, he can make some excuse, come out next week on SmackDown, essentially make excuses for why he lost, basically blame it on other factors, and just go on about how he's the best competitor on SmackDown Live. He's beaten, everyone that matters, and there's really nobody left to challenge him or something like that. And then Nakamura's music hits. They do a stare down. The crowd goes nuts. Nakamura kicks him or something, and you kind of go from there, and it would be awesome. You just talk about their history and go from there.
I think that AJ can easily have a thing where he's bummed out that he was at the top of the food chain for a while, but then is maybe like not even in the card. So he goes about all his accolades like on an international level. So, like he brings up the club, maybe not the Bullet Club, but talks about the club, talks about traveling all over the world and becoming a top athlete. That he overcame the maybe not developmental system, but have a creative way of saying, hey, I showed up at the Rumble. I didn't have to go through all these loopholes that most people have to go to. And then bam, Nakamura comes up as an opponent from the past that AJ is talking about. So maybe that feud creates some intrigue about where have these guys been. And you can build some video packages. Now it will be challenging because most of those things are not owned by WWE. But I would love a storyline that is like, here's a guy from the Bullet Club, a faction a lot of people know about. Here's Nakamura. He was storyline injured, but now he's clear to go. And then he's done everything in NXT. So just have two guys that know how to wrestle each other very well. Just do their thing. Just have the wrestling match. Have your Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit WrestleMania match. I think that is the category that they would fall into. Just do the match that people are going to be talking about, and then have a good time. It doesn't need this whole thing because their personalities alone can carry that feud.
Yeah, very well said. The only thing I would really add to what Juan said there is just change up the way that it starts. If one of the best things about Nakamura is his entrance, so why not during the chamber match have the his music start while AJ's in the chamber? It distracts him, gets him eliminated. Maybe Shinsuke even comes out, and that's how they started going into WrestleMania. That would be a lot of fun to see, but I don't think this year is that year. So thank you for the question. Our next one comes in from Alan R., who asks, given the recent marathon and all, I'd guess you guys are big gamers. You guessed correctly. Are you guys planning on getting the Nintendo Switch? Thanks for the show.
And here's where I come in. Where can I pre-order one? Because
well, right actually, you can go to Nintendo.
If you try and do that, guess what? Every single link is, we're not accepting any more
you're getting one in like November if you want to buy
I have like 4 things set up to alert me on my email if one's available for pre-order. I imagine that none of them will ever come up.
Why?
Because they're full on every single one.
No, I understand why there's none available. Why do you want to switch?
There's one game that's coming out as a launch title, and it's called Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. You can
play that game on the Wii U.
I can play the inferior Wii U version. I know.
Kind of like how the Twilight Princess was the inferior version on the GameCube, right?
Yeah, but this is different because the Wii U is
right. It's always different. That's how it goes.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it looks like the Switch version is way better, but I'll probably end up playing the Wii U version because it will be difficult to get a Switch. But essentially the only reason I want it for is Zelda, and and that Mario game looks weird, but it'll probably be good, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, an honest answer, all jokes aside, is that the Switch does look really cool, and I will get one eventually, but as somebody that's kind of on Zelda, there's not a lot in the starting lineup for it that I'm a big fan of. It's Nintendo is going to do amazing Nintendo things, and I think the Switch has the most potential to blow us all out of the water eventually, but now is not that time, because if this is going to be the one system, like if they're going off of the DS and moving it to this one system, there's a lot of things like the next Pokemon might be the first full console Pokemon game, and
LOL.
That's super freaking exciting.
LOL.
Okay.
They'll never do it, man. They'll never do it, I swear. That's in Nintendo's back pocket that is their like break glass in case of bankruptcy thing.
They're not too far off from that.
So you're telling me that Sun and Moon are going to be the last Pokemon games ever then?
No. Wait, they're saying they're not releasing another handheld?
Well, if the Switch is going to be the all-encompassing thing, a thing that you take on the go or plug into your television, the Switch is that handheld.
Well, unless they've confirmed me that they're not going to release like an actual sequel to the 3DS or whatever. And
what I want to say here,
I don't know, why would they like give up on handheld sales? I think
because
don't forget. This is Nintendo. This is the same people that when the DS came out, they said, no, the GBA, that's totally a whole different thing. Like, we're not going to cut production and games for it because the DS is a whole different console. Boom. No, this is actually totally the sequel to the Game Boy Advance. This is the company that does things. And whether you like them or not, you accept them.
The Switch is not like a true handheld, though, is it?
Then what is it?
Have you watched the trailers where people take it to a freaking rooftop and play it? Like, that is exactly what they are marketing as.
I understand that it's like a portable console, but it's not like
you play in your hands when you hold it. Yeah, but it's not
like, okay... It's not as mobile as a 3DS. You understand that? Like, you're still carrying
a 3DS XL is not mobile.
Yeah, it's around the same size as the 3DS.
You guys understand what I'm talking about.
I mean,
this is a damn wrestling podcast. We're getting a little too into the weeds here, but I'm thinking more like cell phone portability. And right now, I think a 3DS is of that portability where the Switch is not. Yeah, you can bring it to a friend's house or you can bring it to a rooftop apparently pretty easily, but it's not like a true mobile device. Okay, let's move on.
And that's why Super Mario Run exists. You're so wrong, it hurts. Thank you for the question. Our final question of the show comes from the Cynical Cypher, who asks, so I'm going to assume there's a typo here, but I'm going to roll with it anyway because I think that makes this question so much better. And they ask,
my God, I totally read that.
The Byte That Cast is in a triple threat tornado tag team match. You're all on your own with a parent of your choosing. Who do you choose? I'm pretty sure that was supposed to be partner, but we're going with parent. So who do I choose? I don't know. And I was gonna say the easy choice of what I would say, but I don't know.
Man, like it doesn't have to be my parent, so I'm gonna choose like Zack Ryder's dad. That's a kick-ass parent.
Yeah, okay.
It doesn't say your parent. It says with
You know who I'm
parent.
gonna choose? You know who I'm gonna choose? And that's a good point. I'm gonna choose Triple H because Triple H is a parent.
Huh? We're right back to where. Damn, no. Zack Ryder's dad is gonna get killed. Then I'm gonna go with Brock Lesnar's kids, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so I'm going with Brock Lesnar then.
Who do I pick?
Your mom.
Let's see, who? No, I don't think I would do too well in that match at all,
Brock
actually.
Lesnar is not going to F5 your mom, I promise, Ryan. Up until the match starts.
I was just trying to think of, like,
I don't know. There's been a gif going around of when he, like, clotheslined Molly Holly out of her boots.
Right.
So
I was trying to think of, like, a cool parent from, like, a TV show or a cartoon
Bob Saget.
or something.
Get Bob Saget in there.
Bob Saget.
Or Stan or Randy Marsh, I mean.
Randy Marsh would be awesome. Yeah. All right, I'm taking Randy Marsh.
So Triple H, Brock Lesnar, and Randy Marsh are the answers. Wow. So that is the note that we are going to be ending the podcast on. By the way, we're always getting a lot of questions, and unfortunately, we don't have enough time to get to all of them. That's why we do have a lot of goals, including a Patreon exclusive Q&A video going up at least once a month. That is the next goal. The previous one at Patreon was the 12-hour wrestling video game marathon. So guess what? That's done. And you can check out the 12 hours right now. It's up on the archive at twitch.tv/bytethat, but the archives get deleted in about 2 weeks' time, right? More or less? Or is that permanent now?
Yeah, so you'll want to go and check that out in the near future.
Yes.
Yeah, so
because
time's
then
running
we are
out.
throwing it away in the Byte That vault forever.
Forever.
Go now, there's still time.
Go. Run.
Act now.
Ryan, tell them something.
All right, so we want to thank you guys for listening to another edition of the Byte That podcast. So before we go, I want to run through a quick few announcements. Number one, our weekend video this weekend will be an Elimination Chamber review, so look for that. One should be doing that Sunday night.
Even if
he's
I'm
a little
dying.
under the weather, so we'll see if I have to step in for him, but all signs point to Juan will be doing that review.
Yeah.
If you enjoy the show, please leave us a review on iTunes, Stitcher, whatever platform you listen to us on. That actually goes a really long way in helping this show grow. If you'd like to support us, go the extra mile. You can go to patreon.com/bytethat. It's what all the cool kids are doing to see the raw and uncut video version of the podcast for as little as $1. And you can pledge more for extra features. All that information is at patreon.com/bytethat. We'd also like to thank Nicole, Juan's wife, for doing a great job updating our website. It looks a lot nicer now. And along with checking out the Patreon from there, there's also now a new donation button. If you want to just show some support, don't want to commit to Patreon, there's a button there as well. So we appreciate that. And hey, if you're listening on YouTube or whatever, and you haven't hit that subscribe button or rated the show, please do so. That really helps. So thank you guys for listening. Enjoy Elimination Chamber. We'll be giving our thoughts in the review going up this weekend, as well as on the podcast next Wednesday. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you next week.